Hi, guys. Welcome back to Transits and Tactics. Oh my God. When we thought the last few weeks were confusing and we wouldn't get a break, now we're facing here the sun in gate 6, which is a gate of conflict, a gate of friction, and the earth grounding energy in the gate of crisis. So when I looked at what's coming next and I saw those two, I was saying, oh my God, yeah, here we go. And, but it's not so bad because, like with everything, I don't think that there's bad energies or good energies. I remember back, was it mid-July when we had Gate 39, the Gate of Provocation, when I almost gave up on this whole, thing that we were doing and being so provoked. But actually, when you look past, when you ask yourself, what is this energy here to teach you? What is it? What is it here to reveal? That is a completely different thing, and so you can see things in a very different light, which gives you awareness and which gives you power, I think, in the way we are just coping through and getting through life with all these extra energies affecting us. So let's very quickly have a look at what this gate of conflict and gate of friction is. First of all, both gates this week are sitting on our emotional center in human design. So which means that there are emotions, feelings, waves, this is highly charged with maybe slightly different themes, but both of the themes expect yourself to be moody, expect yourself to be sensitive at times, and just be aware of this energy, because we're talking about feelings and we're talking about emotions. And very often, and someone, I have a completely open emotional center, and Annita is an emotional projector, so she has it defined, so we know, like, kind of the two sides of the story in a way. And for me, with the open center, the conditioning with the open emotional center is always about avoiding confrontation. You will do everything not to have friction in your life. This is one of the deepest, I think for me, it's the deepest discomforts in general. It's just to avoid confrontation. And of course, when I look at myself from the childhood, all the time, like people in my life, there's so much of the confrontation is thrown at me, or possibility or option, or this friction with people. I am not an argumentative person, so I very often I let myself be overpowered, or I try to avoid conflict. I don't go into fight mode. And this energy, and in preparation to this video, I was really thinking about this whole thing. Why is this conflict in my life, for example? Why is now there is this gate of friction and I'm feeling this friction? And what is it trying to do? Is it trying, like, is it making me fight someone? Is it making me face something? And the beautiful thing, and this is what I've discovered, and I'm now feeling it, because the awareness gives you such a power to look through beyond conditioning. The conditioning is here all the time, whether we want it or not. We can't really, I don't believe we can completely, like, decondition ourselves to remove it. It's just the awareness of the energy that you experience, right? So with this energy of conflict, I can see how the conflict is there so that it usually builds up. Something builds up, and then bang, this is why it's friction, conflict, and something is revealed. Very often, you probably had that in your life, in your business life. You will have somebody camping in your head, annoying thoughts, and you're like, and then you face that person, you confront that person, things come out. Sometimes what comes out is ugly, and sometimes what comes out is clarity. And this is, I think, what's really important to understand here, is that the real intimacy with other people, whether it's within business, and intimacy, I mean openness, real connection, it can only happen when we clear out what's in the way, when we confront the truth, when we actually face the truths about ourselves, about other people, and when we show up in a way that's vulnerable, which is a huge, powerful thing. So the friction might be unpleasant, it might be painful, but it reveals something that it will help you grow. It will help you move forward. Sometimes, depending on the situation, it will help you to get closer, and sometimes it will help you to let go. And I think that when you look at this gate from that prism, it becomes such a beautiful time right now. So it is time to be honest, and it is time to not avoid conflict and withhold the truth, but actually say it, and put it out there. and see how, and tell them how you feel, and be open to whatever outcome is going to happen. Sometimes no outcome might happen. You don't need to force it, right? But the truth is there, and you get a chance to then, for another person in your life, there is a chance to also assess certain things through this, right? And then create more intimacy or not, because there could be a withdrawal of this connection and intimacy as part of the themes of, the lower frequencies of this gate. And then we have the earth that grounds this energy. And again, it's a gate of crisis, and it's a gate of emotional crisis. It's an emotional gate, right? So you can be experiencing overwhelm. You can, and because it's the energy of nervousness with this emotional kind of like moodiness and sensitivity, you want to get through the overwhelm. You want to push through it, right? So there could be this sense of unease, like a background baseline of feeling very uneasy or feeling like something went wrong. And I have to say, I've experienced this actually already with talking to a client, someone new in my life, and feeling like I did something wrong. The whole the whole time I felt like, oh my God, no, this is probably not my person, or something is going on, and I can see in their face that there's also this kind of confusion, and I'm thinking, what is this? And after the call, I realized that we're both feeling this. We're both feeling unease. We're both feeling that the issues that we had to discuss on the call, they were not easy. We were confronting the mindset that we individually and people as a whole have, that is stopping us and holding us back. So while we were talking about these difficult issues and putting them in the open, we both felt vulnerable, and there was a little bit of friction, right? But that's a transit. That's not really me, man. Maybe I'll see her next week, and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful experience. So this is why I love doing these transit overviews, because sometimes it's not me, it's that. It's not me, it's cosmos, right? So you can navigate the situation. You can still be very responsible for either leveraging the situation. Maybe this is the time now to have like heart and heart conversation, because we had this gate of confusion 2 weeks ago when we were just trying to like analyze our past. Then we had this gate 47 last transit, which was all about, the breakthroughs and again making sense. So now we need to face things so we can move on. And I know it's only a couple of days into this transit, but I think that this knowledge itself, to me personally, is definitely a very, very positive weapon against, whatever could be thrown at us. And it's just the awareness is the biggest, I think, advantage we can have. So, Anita, how are you experiencing this? With you are used to the emotional waves. How is it? How are both of these gates showing up in your life?
Absolutely. This is the tough one because there's so much else going out on around it. Um, I really believe when I look at the other energies and giving it context, that we're being invited to learn how to manage crisis once and for all. And that life can be a series of crises, things not working out the way you think they should, or it can be an adventure. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, what else will I try? So it's very, very powerful energy that's helping us release expectations, release of ourselves, by the way, of ourselves being perfect, of ourselves suddenly taking on these new businesses and expecting to be perfect when we've never done it before. I'm sorry, but realistic expectations. It's dissolving the rules and regulations that we are having a struggle letting go. I don't know, have you noticed this gate 47 has been activated in what they call a T square. Now you have the planets when they're talking to each other in a triangle, three together. They can be either talking nicely to each other, or the square is they're all at loggerheads. They're all fighting each other. And this is in our work energy, Saturn's Jupiter. Our work, how we contribute, and the reward that we get, right? So let me try to stay clear on this now, because there's an awful lot. So the big point here is that we have our mental hands locked on what it should be. And you might find, I found recently that some clients, new clients are coming in and they really want me to agree with what they're doing already that isn't working so that they can keep doing it. And I'm kind of there. I'm not going to be the person you're hiring to be nice or to people please because that's this six energy. I'm here to tell you or to help you connect with what is correct for you. And it will be different to what you're doing already. It has to be because the law of cause and effect is here. What the actions that I'm taking are getting this result. So whether we like it or not, it can't be about being right. It has to be about what brings more flow to you, to your financial well-being, and to your client. So, it's that energy. Am I the peacemaker? Or am I actually just enabling everyone to get on with their chaos? There's the two sides to this. And with that, I remember when I grew up, my parents were open emotion and they swept everything under the carpet. And it was only a matter of time before you tripped over that carpet and it exploded in your face, right? This is the energy where you kind of wake up in the morning, something leaves your life. Now, you've always known it was ready to go, but you were kind of clinging on, right? It leaves your life and you're kind of going, I never saw it coming because I'd swept everything so much under the carpet. I was missing all my signals to say, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, right? So we're looking to balance the eclipse in that gate 36 is looking to shift the what if of the gate 30. What if, or if only, dot, 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 is always something we don't have. And then we go into the crisis of, oh, it's not working for me. Oh, no, my life is a sham, as opposed to, well, where's the potential miracle here? I don't know what's going on. I'm uncertain. Everybody's uncertain about what's coming. So let's create what we want. And so let life be an adventure. Because let's face it, the our new path very rarely reveals itself through roses and rainbows and chocolates. It's very often that crap isn't working for us and we do need to change. And the crisis is what we need to move through, as you said, to get through to the clarity. So all this is in the transits right now. And we're ending, we're ending cycles, we're beginning new cycles. And you know the way people talk about the ascension energy. Really, technically, what's happening is we're moving from earthbound energy, solid, grounded, stuck energy, into air and fire, which is communication and get things done. So we're moving into much faster energy, and we need to be able to understand how we're wired because we all handle crisis differently. Because when we're manifesting, it's going to happen really fast. So if I'm in my conflict, really, I'm gonna actually self-perpetuate the result that I don't want. So I need to be very clear and very mentally, what's the word? Mentally disciplined to actually make the reality that I want. Yeah, does
I
that make
love that. I love that. Actually, the whole question of discipline, it's a separate, we should do another, something else here, maybe a lighthouse project, a lighthouse series episode on that we do with Anita. By the way, look it up. It's on YouTube and it's on our websites. So we should talk about the discipline because a lot of people, especially with human design, there's such a scary misunderstanding with, oh, I need to be in the zone, I need to be lit up, and you're sitting there waiting until you're in the zone and lit up instead of, and completely missing the point in terms of how to motivate, not understanding motivation. I'm on this whole vibe about this, but let's just go back to a little bit to this energy right now with the conflict. By the way, if you have an undefined emotional center, so you don't like conflict deep down, you're avoiding the conflict, but if you have this gate 6 in your design, you could be someone who is always preparing to fight. So you can talk things out loud, you know what you're going to say to these people, how you're going to confront them, and you're constantly preparing yourself to fight. And it's really, really interesting to just kind of catch yourself, because I think that this week, a lot of us with the undefined or open centers, we will have this energy, prepare for the fight, but yet you don't want to fight. And my advice to you, as someone who is literally firsthand experiencing this, just do the cool confrontation thing. You don't need to prepare for it. You don't need to rehearse for it, right? Just go and honestly put it out there. Put your truth out there. It's really scary, but it also feeds into other things that our brain holds on to, like the scarcity mindset, the fear of losing it and all these other things that most of us carry, throughout our adult life. But it is still all kind of not true. It's just the minds. It's not that it's not true. No, there are deep traumas and they're there, but they're not true right now in this moment. They're not the truth, right? So just out of fear that things can maybe break, that you can lose something, we avoid getting the truth out into the open so that we can grow, so that we can flow. I think this is a really good week, this week, to take whatever you're fixating on in terms of this conflict or avoiding the conflict and putting that into your content. Like, it doesn't have to be the topic of the conflict itself, but the themes, because this is a highly charged emotional energy. And when you put emotions into your content, that's when it becomes magnetic. That's when you can speak your truth, because the emotional center, it is about your truth or avoiding it, right? And that's why I think that this is such a good creative time. So yes, you might be feeling uneasy, or you might be feeling all these negative unpleasant feelings and nervousness. But if you look into it and ask yourself, what's behind this? What's behind this fear? What's behind this feeling of unease? What's behind this overwhelm? And see if there is an insight that you can have, that maybe you can share with your relevant audience through your whatever you do, through your angle. That's how the best content is created. So I think that this is good to have these powerful forces that maybe seem very negative at the first glance, but they're so beautiful. And don't forget, in messaging, strategic vulnerability is so relatable, and people work with people, so people want to work with people who are who get you. So by me showing up and reflecting on something that is maybe a vulnerable thing, I don't have to tell everyone everything about my private life. We're not talking about that, but we're talking about reflecting on the vulnerability within the context of your niche. The other person reads that, they start feeling, oh my God, I'm not alone. This similar thing is going on. I know the feeling. Maybe the words, maybe the topic itself is slightly different, but I know that feeling. And so you can connect. I think this is absolutely wonderful. So guys, leverage this energy. No matter how life feels like it wants to, bring us down, and we might have this, temptation of blaming the world, like Anita was saying, blaming everyone. Maybe we want to hide behind this Hollywood-like way that life is all rosy. And it's funny, actually. I grew up on fairy tales. Like, my obsession as a child was fairy tales, and way into my early adulthood, myths and legends and fairy tales and all that. And now I'm thinking how it's interesting, because the journey is not always presented in a realistic way, even when it is, even when they say the hero went and he slept under the tree, but they don't describe how uncomfortable it was. They don't describe how cold it was. They don't describe every minute, like that he was hungry, right? They don't describe all that. So we kind of skim over those details. So when they hit us in real life, that there's unease, there's discomfort, there's all these energies, we want to run away, because nobody told us as kids that this is what really happens. It's all nice and rosy, and all of a sudden, bum, and he found his princess, right? So let's wake up sometimes. Life is about these hardships, because if you look at this from a different side, that's a doorway to something beautiful, to something you learn about yourself. And just learning to appreciate it, I think it's really beautiful. Now I went on a massive reflection there. Do you have anything to add here, Anita?
I do have one more thing to say, if that's okay. I just wanted to describe the the high-end aspect, or the balanced aspect of this energy, because when you have an open emotion center and you're in the room with a bunch of people, you can be the rock in the storm, because you can see the emotion, you can read the room without needing to call it out, but you can stabilize it by being the rock, by bringing perspective. Okay, when you're a defined emotion, you can bring also stability to that room, when you realize, no, you don't have to go after every emotion that you feel. The way you're thinking is what's creating your emotions, not necessarily what's happening in front of you. So to be able to stand your ground, stay grounded and centered, and realize that these energies are literally shaking us up to kind of release those rigid thought patterns that we've held for centuries, let's face it. They're helping us release that. And what's being let go, the glue, is the emotion, the fear, the resentment, the sadness, the depression, that grief, So we're releasing this energy now because we are opening up into, thank God, creating a more healthy relationship dynamic, whether it's with ourselves, with others, with clients, with personal relationships. It doesn't really matter, but that's what's happening. We're releasing all this old, in 2002, you said this and I'm still pissed about it, Instead of that, letting that stuff go, letting go needing to be so hard on ourselves, and allowing, as Julia just called out, showing up in a relationship in a more real, authentic space that's very magnetic in your
Mm.
business, in your marketing.
That
That's
is
really
so true. Because this week it's a lot about intimacy, this
mm,
energy, this transit. It's a lot about relationships. But when you look at marketing, or you look at your business, this is relationships with people. You just
mm,
have a different, there is an appreciation in terms of, some transactional exchange of money versus, for your service, but it's still about people.
mm,
And if you're picky enough, which you should be, you will not allow wrong people just because they pay you money into your business, right?
mm,
But it is all about people. So maybe this gate of crisis and the gate of friction and the gate of crisis, maybe these gates give you an opportunity to actually evaluate the partnerships, the relationships you have in your business and see where sometimes maybe some things need to be let go of. Maybe
mm,
some clients need to be let go of. Own your truth. Own your truth. This could be a really empowering time. Sometimes the transits, we say, watch the transit. It can affect you. Then the transit will be over, and then you stay here with the consequences. Well, check in with your inner guidance, obviously. Always check in with your own truth, but acknowledge and honor it this week, because this gate, this friction can help you maybe make that push that you will feel better. And remember, when one door closes, the other always opens. If it's the right time to close that door, the other one will open immediately. Trust it. And, I think that this is important to keep in mind this week. Guys, thank you so much for staying with us. We will see you in the next episode of Transits and Tactics. And stay grounded and be that rock. See you.